Today, the Black History story is on Phillis Wheatley. Phillis Wheatley is the first published African-American poet in U.S. history. And look, man, I've done the Black History projects. I've told y'all about that. She has been on my list, but none of my students has ever done Phillis Wheatley before. I've never done a project on Phillis Wheatley. It wasn't until today, watching the story, that I actually became aware, dog, I swear I didn't know it would have been a bigger part of my history. It would have been a huge part of my history days. If I would have known or remembered, Phillis Wheatley was actually kidnapped from Africa, man. She was like 7 or 8 years old and actually kidnapped from Africa, brought here to the States. She was here in the States, and at the age of 7, the colonizers that bought her were trying to prove a point. They did experiment to see if slaves could learn and do anything like whites. Phillis Wheatley is 7 or 8 years old. Of course, we don't know the real age because they didn't keep records of us and shit back then. She's 7 or 8 years old, and within 16 months, she learns the entire English language. Within another year, she learns Greek. And within another year, she learns Latin. That means within 3 years, she comes here as an enslaved child of 7 or 8. And within 3 years, she learns English, Greek, and Latin. That shit blew my mind. She became so accomplished and so good at this. She was blowing the white folks' minds. That at the age of 20, that's when she got published. And because she was so good at this, she actually wrote George Washington letters during the American Revolution, encouraging him and telling him how he had the support of blacks because she hoped and believed and wished and everything that he was going to rock and free the blacks. And instead, we all know Washington just led the Americans to victory, free of Britain, and Britain actually ended slavery, and kept rocking with the slavery here. She wrote him, and George Washington, the motherfucker, actually wrote her back, told her how awesome she was, how beautiful she was, called her madam, and wanted to meet her. Now, no historical records will tell us if he actually met Phillis Wheatley or not. But that's just wild out when you think about the value of that. To be 7 or 8 years old, kidnapped, and brought to an entirely fucked up place where your people and people who look like you are enslaved. You learn the language, you blow their minds, you do things to elevate yourself, you write to the leaders of these people that are enslaving your people, and you're doing all this shit from the age of 7 to the age of 20. Dog, that is a hell of a goddamn story. And I've always rocked with Sojourner Truth because of the name, Sojourner Truth. I named my son Truth. But damn, Phillis, I didn't know she was doing it like that, man. Hell of a story. Hell of a story.